Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. So today we have a very special message from Dr. Pillai, and how this came about is one day he just called me over and said, I want to tell people why I'm in silence. It's been so many months and they should know. And these are my people. And so I said, fine, what do you want to do? So he recorded this video that I am about to play. And this is your message. So I'll play the video. We'll do a little recap of what Dr. Pillai says and see if you have any questions. And then we will hear from Beth Damaris, and we'll go on to see like kind of what the future looks like for you. I'll present some more information about what's happening at Pillai Center and ways that you can participate with Dr. Pillai and the Pillai Center. So let's go ahead and watch this video.
For many of my YouTube followers, it has been a disappointment for more than 2 months or 3 months, I don't remember. During these months, I have never been active posting my video clips. So I have been silent. Why? Because again there was inner necessity that I should be silent because I have been blah-blahing all along. And then I decided to cut my speaking. That's why I didn't do. However, although I have not been talking to you on a physical level, on a verbal level, but I have been contacting you on the spiritual level. Whenever you think about you, or you think about me, or I think about you, but I cannot think about all the people who are watching. But you can think about me, then there is a connection is established. I don't individually have to think about every one of you because I am now in a totally different state of consciousness. It's a consciousness of that brings everything into one, unity consciousness. And in that unity consciousness there is bliss. And the bliss will be disturbed if we just come down from it and then talk a reality which brings duality. Whatever is needed for every one of you, I can do it from my own silence. That I cannot do while speaking. By speaking, I can give you some kind of comfort. But not speaking, but being in tune with highest consciousness, I can do more than giving you comfort. I will be a miracle maker. And I want to be one. And that miracle is everything for everyone, whether you're poor or like a middle class or even rich people, they all want miracles. What are miracles? Miracles are happenings that cannot be explained rationally. It happens out of the blue, challenging all our cause and effect and rationality. This was one of the last teachings of Jesus. Jesus was doing a lot of miracles, turning water into wine and creating fish and bread for the devotees and other people, healing people. He was a miracle maker. And miracle certainly is the ultimate teaching. Miracle, learning how to do miracles, is developing a state of consciousness which Jesus explained it so beautifully by saying, if you have faith, you can move the mountain. If you have faith like a mustard seed, you can move mountains. Even as early as 2000 years ago, when there was no science, when there was no rational thought as we have today, when people were more tuned into faith, even during that time, to have faith like a mustard seed was very hard. Now we are deep into our rational mind and dedicated to a system where everything works on the basis of cause and effect, action, reaction, which is a materialistic, scientific, rationalistic approach to reality. But you can also have simultaneously the miracle reality too, which is to bypass this slow moving time by committing to a salary check at the end of the month. You can have a salary check every day. There's a rishi in the Vedas. There's a prayer in which he says, I want money every day. He's asking God. So it is possible to change your paradigm every day, but you are now tied to the collective mindset, the collective social consciousness, not to the highest consciousness. So the reason why I have been silent is because I don't want to blah blah. If I want to speak, I want to be very precise. So what I'm going to do now? I'm going to help you in a different way, because you need not only my silence but also my teachings. This will be delivered through students who have been with me for decades and who have picked up my teaching, and they will be teaching. Now there is one program which I recommend that has very little blah blah, but deep insight and produce results that you will be able to witness very quickly, substantially, practical. And that program is about to start, or maybe it has started. It is the coaching program, PA coaching program that got started by Beth. She has been with me for a couple of decades. So I recommend that. It's an 8-week program that will continue, and then I strongly recommend that. Then there are programs that Gina will be doing on Srimbriji. There is another program that I have authorized, Sarah Burns, Radha Paru, her spiritual name. She has been in charge of the Miracles School. And she has been telling me that we should have a program which is affordable, and asked me permission to do programs, develop programs based on the teachings, the mystery school teachings, and the ultimate teachings. These are all, every year I had a theme. This is a 1-year program. She's going to develop some program that will be affordable and then structured and then will be given to you. So what, in short, although I'm not going to be talking that much, my teachings will be available. There will be some astrology teachings as well, because I'm very, very, very convinced about the use of astrology for the benefit of humanity. So that will also be available. And those of you who want to benefit from my latest teachings, I have the birthday program that's upcoming. And then following that, I will do the Guru Purnima. These are the two that are planned for this year. And then, of course, you can always welcome to come and listen to more than 1,000 of videos that I have put out. During this year of challenge, I will always protect you. I want you to stay in faith and be liberated from the prison of the body-mind to enlightenment. God bless.
Welcome back from Dr. Pillai's video message. So I want to do a quick recap because I know sometimes messages like that may sound ominous and maybe instill some fear of Dr. Pillai not being around, but let's reiterate like what he just said. He literally said, I am in a state of unity consciousness. I can do more for you in my silence. So how incredibly blessed are all of we that he says, I will protect you. And so what do we have to do to be in his consciousness, to think about him? Next week, I'm doing a webinar on ways to connect with Dr. Pillai specifically for his birthday. So I recommend that you join that. It's free. It's on Sunday at 8 a.m., I think, and Saturday at 8 a.m. So this will help us to be more in touch with him. He basically said, when you think about me, that's when the connection is made. And that connection, I'm contacting you. He said, I'm contacting you on a spiritual level. Whenever you think about me, there is a connection that is established. So we'll go a little bit further than that in the webinar in terms of a new mantra that he wants us to use to connect with him and create miracles, and another step for connecting with him. So he talked about that. That's the most important thing, right? Continuing to think about him. If you have a certain practice, continuing to do that. If you want to know more about a new practice, come to the webinar next weekend and we'll explain that. And then he says that, you know, his words comfort us, and that we need both his energy and his unity consciousness, and the bliss that he'll be sending to us and the protection that he'll send us, as well as words that comfort us. And that's where the Pillai Center teachers are coming in. And it's quite an honor for him to mention this. I didn't even know when he recorded it that this is what he was going to say. So he mentioned a few teachers. There's more than just the 3 that he has mentioned. And throughout this entire year, Pillai Center, based on Dr. Pillai's new message, will be putting into place more ways to support you on your journey so that you can be leveraging Dr. Pillai's core teachings, which are in recorded form, as well as engagement, questions, answered, support by the Pillai Center teachers. Now, all these teachers that Dr. Pillai has were selected and empowered by him. There's not yet a teacher training program. So these are folks that he's sending out to be of support. So we're all very honored and touched to be in that group. So other ways to stay in touch with Dr. Pillai directly. So he said there's 2 ways this year that he will be engaging directly with you. One is the birthday trip. If you're on that birthday trip in person, fantastic. If you can't be there, then there's the birthday proxy program, where he'll be doing a live teaching on his birthday. And I think there's also one more live teaching during this trip. You'll be able to listen, engage, and actually have 4 weeks of follow-up with that. There's going to be Guru Purnima in July. We're finalizing the details and we'll be announcing that within the next few weeks. And there's also a mystery school, which will be starting sometime in March. You'll hear more about that too. Those are the ways in which Dr. Pillai is directly going to continue to communicate with his students. And then there'll be different programs developed that use his techniques and his teachings and are supported by teachers. One of them is PI coaching, which Dr. Pillai mentioned, and Beth is here today to tell us more about that. Another is Stream Brazil, which I'll be doing. And then what Sarah's going to be doing is a mystery school from last year, taking last year's teachings and making it available to more people at a more affordable level. So, and there's some more stuff brewing. So stay tuned. We're here in 100% support and our commitment at Pillai Center to support you through 2020, making an amazing new decade. So if you have any questions, post them in the chat. Right now, we'll turn it over to Beth so we can hear more about PI coaching, what it is, how it benefits us, and some information about when it starts and things like that. So thank you for joining us, Beth.
Thanks. Is my volume okay? Can you hear me okay? Shift around. So hello everyone, and it's an honor to be back and talking about PI, and especially after that amazingly high message from Dr. Pillai. So I wanted to just talk a little bit about what's happening with phonemic intelligence, and just as Gina was saying with PC, we are sort of planning a platform for phonemic intelligence, and we will be having more programs and more coaches and more teachers and trainers as time goes on. But our first course is starting on February 1st, and it's an 8-week-long course. And it's all centered around areas of sort of cognition and areas of emotion that we sort of are success metrics for our lives. There are things about like focus and attention and how to move from sort of like a mediocre Monday consciousness to something that not only is just a little bit better, but it's a pathway to take you to really the highest consciousness. And that's certainly how Dr. Pillai has designed this program. He has invested, his whole life. He's in studying sounds. He is a sound expert. And all of his love and attention and all of his teachings have gone into phonemic intelligence and this science and the studies. If you were on the last webinar, I talked about Harvard University and the study we did there, and Brain Science International. We also did studies at a medical school in India, which is where I am right now, and a very, very large study with Tripura Foundation, which is his nonprofit that rolls out PI to over 100,000 students here in India. So it's a really phenomenal program, and it is his systematic. As one of the people I'm coaching, she said, you know, after the first session, she said, this is like a systematic approach to the highest consciousness. She said, you know, I chant and I've gotten amazing benefits from chanting and from sound. And what I see this phonemic intelligence being is just basically giving me a system to be able to kind of go up the ladder and get to this level of consciousness. And that was actually my experience this morning. I had sort of as someone put it, a supernova experience. But it was like I woke up and I was in a pretty good mood, as positive as thinking about future things. But one thing happened that was really different today, and that was every time my mind would move to anything that was maybe limiting or negative or limiting or anything like that, like kind of on the small side, I immediately, my mind, and I know it was because of phonemic intelligence, immediately jumped over it and went beyond it. So I can say what happened is, not only did I not think that limiting thought, but I also went to a really high, very expansive thought. So it, and I couldn't think about thought. That was I started to test it, and I'm like, okay, you know, it's this, that, no, nothing was going anywhere. It was just all progressing into a higher consciousness. So it was pretty wild experience for me, and I know it was because it actually happened right after I did my PI this morning, and I do it usually in the morning, and it was just profound. I also wanted to share. There's another woman I've been coaching for a couple of months, and she has a really interesting story, and I wanted to just kind of read it. It's a little short paragraph. She calls it overcoming overeating. She says, as part of the Phonemic Intelligence Coaching Program, I have been doing the intelligent thinking technique daily. To my surprise, I found PI is helping me overcome my food addiction. First, I became aware that my brain's default is to feel uncomfortable, discontented, anxious, and easily irritated. As a child, I learned that food made me feel better, at least for a very short period of time. And it turned into a lifelong habit of overeating. I have been experimenting with using a quick version of the PI technique during the day when I start to feel the old negative thoughts and emotions. I find that PI is putting me into a more focused and comfortable headspace where I can move forward with my day, be productive, and not overeat or even think about overeating. So that kind of, I wanted to share that, and I asked her permission to do that on this call. So it was it's a brain changing technology, I guess. It's not only just thought changing, but it also changes the structure of your brain and how your neurons connect, how you think, and how those thoughts progress from one level to higher levels. So I welcome you all to join this program Dr. Pillai was talking about. We extended, because of this video conference, we have extended the early bird pricing to Tuesday. It was supposed to be closed down yesterday, but we extended to Tuesday because we knew some of you were going to watch this and be excited to join us on this 8-week journey, which is a pilot journey. And we've made the price in the affordable range so that as many people can join as possible, because you know it's going to be kind of a sharing back and forth. We want to hear we want your feedback, and we're putting together a phenomenal program. We're working basically 18-hour days to get this program together for you. So I'm just completely excited about it. So I really invite you, whoever feels the call to do it, it's a good time to do it now. The group program starts on February 1st. The one-on-one coaching program starts probably just before February 1st. And we are opening up, there'll be another round of one-on-one coaching, which is going to open up on March 1st. But if you take advantage of this low price now, then you can get into the March dates. Right now, we're already filled for all the one-on-one coaching that's going to start on Feb 1st. And we will have this course again after we launch this and get some of our feedback. But I'll stop there, Gina, and take any questions, or maybe there's something you might want to ask or something.
Great.
Or clarify.
Yeah, so a couple of questions are coming in, and one is someone's already registered for the PI coaching. Is there any preparation they need to do before it starts?
No, in fact, what I did is I added and nothing, absolutely nothing you have to do. This isn't supposed to be a blah blah course, I guess. That's what Dr. Pillai just said. But I think I added one extra session for everybody. So instead of 8, it's actually 9 weeks, because I wanted the introduction to be sort of an immersion in the practice, in the training of the practice. And then we'll start on the topics after on our second session. So there's nothing you have to do at all. Just come to the introductory session, and you'll be able to absorb and learn anything there, and then you can get started immediately. And so by the time you come into the first session, you're going to be all your brain is going to be PI'd for can have all the PI in it that it needs to start accepting all these other good trainings.
Great. Any other questions, folks? Please post them either in YouTube or on the viewing page chat. We'll give it another minute before we wrap up. Will Beth be doing the March 1st training?
That's a good question. We just were talking about this earlier. I don't know that I will be, only because of the schedule that's been booked for me for February and March. But we have phenomenal, I've been coaching a group of people for the last 2.5 months, 3 months, really sharp people, some of you may even know, who have done some other training and teachings. So I'm not sure, but if you have a special request, and if you join now and you absolutely want me or don't want me, like either one, just let us know, and we'll try and find every way to accommodate that, and we'll get back to you right away too. I mean, you won't have to.
Great, thanks. And by the way, folks, anyone that would become a coach is someone who has been assessed and worked out and knows what they're doing. So if it's not Beth, then it's definitely someone who's qualified to do so. And some of you may know some of the people who are on deck for the possibility of doing the one-on-one coaching starting March 1st. So another question, which Michaeline, she's in many of our classes, asking, how does PI course interfere, add, enhance Brizzy abundance or Brizzy practices? I'd like to take a shot, and then you can take a shot, Nambukali, Beth. So because I've been running the Stream Brizzy and the Brizzy programs, I have found that it can only enhance that. And that can go with any core practice that you're using with Pillai Center. So whether it's Stream Brizzy or it's something else, this technique is so different and unique that it will only add to that practice as well as everything else that you're doing in your life. So there's no interference, and it's only like, what is it, 10 minutes? Like the technique is so 7 minutes, something like that, 5. The technique is so short that it doesn't interfere with your practices. In Brizzy and Stream Brizzy, we try to keep the meditations around 15, 20 minutes. That was Dr. Pillai's desire, so that we have enough to get into a deep state, as well as keep it short enough for a daily practice. So Beth, I'd like for you to take a shot because you've done both.
That was pretty good. Yeah, I've had amazing miracles with Shroom Brzee in my life. Amazing, amazing miracles. And with PI as well. And it's it definitely is a massive compliment. It's sound, but both are sound. One is used, from more of a spiritual sense that comes from an energetic energy. Actually, the the sounds that we use for phonemic intelligence are also come from an origin of, sort of that goddess origin as well. But that's not what they're known as now. They're known as basically phonemes. So we use individual phonemes, and we've studied them. As I said, we've studied the effect in the brain. And just to highlight a little bit about that, I don't want to. I can't say that. I can say what they do is complement each other, and I guess what they can probably give you more understanding in both respects. It will help you understand what's going on with Shroom Brzee in your life, and help you kind of understand the dedication. So if there's some things, particularly in this course, we're going to go over things like resilience, like when you have, a crisis of faith, and all of a sudden you're thinking Shroom Brzee isn't working for me, or PI is not working for me. What we're doing is we're using a technique and a sound and certain practices on that week to be able to crush that crisis of faith, so that you can move on and set up your discipline in a way that's going to bring you the results you want. So it sort of is the actual affirmation on the technique is called blocking unintelligent thinking and promoting intelligent thinking. So it's going to take away these things that prevent us from further progressing in Shroom Brzee and further progressing in PI. It's sort of the nature of that. So it's definitely gonna aid.
Right. That's awesome. And someone, one of the guests on the chat said, PI empowers and enhances maintaining stability of Shroom Brzee and unlimited thinking and pure positive thinking. So we have a testimony here that in terms of complementing, and that's what we are saying really. Michaeline asked if there's chanting. There's no chanting in PI. We're going to, just so that everyone knows as well, kind of like the outline of the next 6 months in terms of live courses, so that you understand what's happening with what in terms of what Dr. Pillai has said. So the currently right now we're in Awakened Soul. That's going to be ending at the end of January. February 1st starts Dr. Pillai's birthday message. Those calls will be going until the end of February. The PI coaching starts in the beginning of February. We're going to make sure that those calls do not overlap in any way, so you can participate in both. And then starting March 15th is when the new mystery school with Dr. Pillai and without Dr. Pillai will be starting. So, and then in April, May is when the next live Brzee or Shroom Brzee program will begin. So we are releasing them in ways that people can continue on this journey. There will also be another level program, Miracle School, which will likely start in March or April, which is again complementary, separate from PI, separate from Shroom Brzee, encompasses more of the core teachings of Dr. Pillai. So, and then the Shroom Brzee Collective will continue throughout. So if people are wanting to maintain their Shroom Brzee practice, then the collective is where you'd want to stay. So, and we'll just make sure that there's no overlapping calls, so that you can do any one of the courses, the ongoing courses, as well as PI, because they 100% complement each other. Okay, see what other questions we have here. Does PI help deal with fear and make one courageous?
Definitely. Yeah. Fear, anxiety. We work on an area of the brain. There's a sound and a technique that we use to destroy anxiety. I can say in both my life and in lives of the people that I've been coaching, it's been dramatic. It's been a dramatic thing. So a dramatic change in lack of reducing both anxiety and fear. And when you take away the fear, all of a sudden you find freedom in how you think. So the thoughts that you have, the quality of thought that you have is very different. It's very different. And it's something that, we don't, sometimes we live in fear because it's survival consciousness all the time. And once that fear of survival consciousness is taken away, you are really quite, I don't want to use spiritual terms so much, but you're kind of transported to a whole new realm of thoughts and possibilities. And that's what PI does.
Great, thanks. There's another question. Is the technique one or more techniques in PI?
So we're going to focus on one technique, 3 levels of that technique.
So one technique at a time. They don't need to worry about having multiple things to do, right?
No. It's only going to be one technique. It's going to be, we recommend you do it twice a day, and it's 5 minutes a day, 5 to 7 minutes. And we'll be doing it on our calls as well, so everyone will get pretty used to it. And it's fun. It's really fun.
Great. Any other questions, folks? We have a few more minutes before we wrap up. Okay, so you know your dates. February 1st is when the coaching program begins. That's Dr. Pillai's birthday. He selected that date. And so I know many of you will be engaged with Dr. Pillai's birthday, either on the trip or in the proxy program. That's okay, because I think the live coaching starts the week after, correct, Beth?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So the first week is there's going to be information given out. So you'll be able to start your program, but then the live engaged coaching group coaching begins the week after. So you won't miss a thing. Even though he wanted the energy to start on his birthday, the sessions will begin the week after and then go for 8 weeks after I think it's February 8th. So if you have any other questions, write to us, office@pillaicenter.com. We will handle anything you have in terms of questions or concerns and get back to you as soon as we possibly can. And I think that's it. Beth, anything else you want to add or end with?
No, thanks for, it's my honor to join this call, and I hope I assume I'll see many of you either on the trip or in the next on the PI coaching.
Yeah, fabulous. Thank you. So thank you all for joining. Thank you for being present and interested. And please take to heart Dr. Pillai's message. Connecting with him in his silence is how he's going to help us even more. You can join my webinar next weekend where I talk more in depth about a new mantra he wants us to use, as well as how to connect with him more specifically on his birthday and for the rest of 2020. In order to manifest miracles. So we have an amazing year set up at Pillai Center. I'm so excited. We're creating a lot of new things. We're scheduling out in advance. You'll all love that. And once we have everything finalized, we'll put that schedule out for you. Do stay tuned for group Purnima announcements within the next few weeks as well. And by the way, the birthday proxy early bird ends on Tuesday, the 21st of January. So please, if you are interested, save yourself whatever it is, $75 or so. That's where we create the yantra for you, where you're going to have that be brought to all the temples all over India. Dr. Pillai will personally touch and bless all the yantras, and you'll get the teachings and live video as much as we possibly can throughout the trip, the yantras, and a ton of remedies. So we hope to see you there, and I'll probably be carrying that plate of yantras as I did last year, which is such a beautiful way to take you all with us. So thank you again, and we will talk to you soon. Namaste.